the recommendation for a new authority to address gender-based violence. I'm Clint Watson. The stories ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
And BTC spending millions of dollars in technological upgrades, so don't go anywhere. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, gender-based violence is a major factor in the breakup of the family structure and the contribution to crime. This sobering fact borne out in statistics released last week by the task force who worked on the issue for 2 years. The report calls for immediate intervention by government to assist in eradicating the social ill. Clint Watson has more tonight on the issue and some of the programs recommended to bring about change.
Our crime problem will not be solved if we do not solve the problem of gender-based violence.
Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie says his administration is giving considerable focus to addressing this vexing issue as it is a major underlying factor in the crime.
I thought we were dealing with a subject that people were loath to speak about. They speak behind their hands. Do you know who's beat women? Do you know who do this? Do you know who's cruel to their children? And that this effort in itself was bringing to the public's attention, opening it right up so that we can be honest with ourselves in our community as to the challenges that exist.
Gender-based violence, according to the newly released report by the National Task Force on GBV, is endemic in the Bahamas and constitutes a major public health issue. Between 2005 to 2010, 45 women were killed as a result of intimate partner violence. Statistics also show that the Bahamas leads the Caribbean with recorded rapes rate. It is also a known fact that incidents of rape and child sexual abuse are often not reported to state authorities. Deputy Chair of the task force, Dr. Robin Roberts, says the first thing they've proposed is a national intervention for children.
And this would be done in conjunction with the Public Hospitals Authority and the Bahamas and the Crisis Center. We are aware that children exposed to violence in the home and community experience a sense of loss, guilt, self-blame, terror, and fear. They become at-risk children who have an increased tendency towards violence or re-victimization, unhealthy behavior, and illness with lasting impact on brain function and structure. This national program for early intervention is mandated. That is one in which specially trained counselors will be made available for these at-risk children.
Annual police reports document 9,045 assault female victims in 5 years from 2008 to 2012. But women aren't the only victims of this violence. Young men and boys are exposed as well. The creation of a specific program for reclaiming boys will be established. Other initiatives include a program focusing on the issues throughout the family of violence, as well as a program for batterers.
We've shown that 10 years down the line, the men who have joined these programs, 80% of them or more are still free of committing violence. So we want to expand this throughout the country, from island to island, starting first in Nassau, and then we'll be moving into Freeport.
Chairperson of the task force, retired Justice Rubie Nottage, is convinced that if these programs are implemented now, it will produce a positive result and help in the fight against crime.
Is that when we seek to eradicate GBV, we are putting in place a strategic plan that goes to the root cause in seeking to combat the essence of violence and criminality in our society. We must eradicate gender-based violence.
Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
And police investigating another homicide here in the capital overnight. This after a man found with injuries dies in hospital. It was after 12 midnight when the victim was found lying on the ground with a wound on Wulff Road near the Stephen Dillard Primary School. He was transported to hospital where he later died. Police are trying to determine how the victim sustained the injury and are asking anyone with information to contact them at 919, 911 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. And the Selective Enforcement Team shut down 10 nightclubs for operating in breach of the Liquor and Licenses Act. 6 persons were arrested during the operation for a number of serious offenses. And in Grand Bahamas, shortly after 12 a.m., 2 males were in the area of Weddell Avenue when they were reportedly shot by a male wearing dark clothing. One male was shot above the body. He died at the scene. The other male was shot to the arm and taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital for further medical attention. Now, if you have any information on this incident, please contact the Central Detective Unit office at 350-3106-12, 911, 919, or call your nearest police station. And over in Abaco, police are investigating the sudden death of a man shortly before 10 p.m. on Friday. Police say a 38-year-old male resident of Green Turtle Key, while at a party at a business establishment, collapsed and died. He was later pronounced dead by the local doctor, and police were later called to the scene. Investigations into all of these matters continue.
Innovation at Work. Find out who walked away with the top prize at BTC's Hackathon.